Alright, it's the number 235 of my accountability to myself, and I appreciate everyone's attention who watches this. Honestly, it's third attempt to record this video. Two previous attempts I didn't talk about the theme that I want to mention now, and I'm not sure that I will be able to elaborate on this topic properly because I didn't get enough time to think about this. I just spent 5 minutes thinking in my mind what could I mention about this, and I will try to explain it. So the idea that I want to give is one of the branches. So we have like main idea, importance of your mindset, and there's one of the branches like this. And I want to explain this one of the branches because there are a lot of things that you can change in your mindset, and changing your mindset is the most powerful thing and probably the most underestimated, because it allows you to think in different way, to act in different way, and therefore to live life in accordance to your thoughts and to your deeds, right? So I would like to explain how every disadvantage can be turned into advantage. Pretty often we can listen to some people complaining about their lives. Economy is bad, government is bad, neighbor is bad. Something prevents almost each person from achieving success, in their opinion. And in their opinion, this is a disadvantage. This is something that does not allow you to achieve something great in this life. But let me show how would it look like in real life. So for example, there's person 1 like this, and there's person 2 like this. Two identical biological organisms are the same the same creatures. We all strive for acknowledgement, for all of the things, right? So none of us is AI or something like that. We all are same people. And now imagine that one person lives in a country with great economy. Economy is good, and this person operates at this level. This person is supposed to operate at this level to reach his potential. So here's like the bottom. Let's make like this. Here's bottom, and he needs to reach this level in order to succeed. Whereas for another person, it's harder because another person lives in another country with a worse economy. And for another person to reach success, he's supposed to make way more, right? So for him, apparently, it's harder to succeed because of economy. It seems like downside, right? But sometimes we need to realize that each downside and each advantage is double-edged sword. Why? Because there are two persons. This person achieves and this person achieves. Person 1, let's call this person 1. This person will be 2. So person 1 might complain that it's so hard to achieve, so I'm not gonna do anything and I won't even reach this level, so I'm gonna stay somewhere there, right? So it's an excuse in order to do nothing, right? Whereas this person just lives its life and achieves some kind of success. However, on the other hand, what could do person number 1? Person number 1 could endeavor in order to reach that level. It would take more time, it would take more mental effort, it would take experiencing more anxiety, whatever, but he can reach that level. He can reach higher level that compared to level that is required for person 2. And what happens if this person can reach harder level? Here's what happens. So, for example, here's another environment. Here's the level that those both people are supposed to reach in order to succeed. They move, they want to expand their business, they want to expand their company, whatever. They need more competence in order to succeed. Now, this plank went up. And what happens? For the person who lived in worse conditions, it's easy to enter this because he is already adjusted to some kind of harder environment, to some kind of harder economy. He knows how to operate, he knows how to look for loopholes, he knows how to put more effort in order to succeed. Whereas person number 2 does not know it because everything was pretty simple. His economy allowed him to easily build what he wanted to build. And as a result, he did not gain that crucial experience that could help him in another undertaking. And now, if those both people leave their countries and find themselves in another country here, then person 1 is most likely to outperform person 2, because person 1 has more competence due to living in worse society, in worse environment. So what is the idea that I'm trying to explain? We can always complain that something's hard. We can always complain that there are some downsides, that there's something that does not allow us to achieve. There's something mental condition that does not allow us to operate properly. There's something in your phone that does not allow you to focus on your studies. There's someone who broke your heart and now you cannot focus on anything. But you don't understand, I didn't understand. And I think a lot of people don't understand that each of disadvantages can be turned in advantage. Why am I saying this? Because I experienced it twice over the past 9 months. First situation, not gonna talk about this, but I felt so miserable. I felt so bad, horrible, terrible, dreadful. I didn't want to do anything. And experiencing that feeling, I managed to force myself to improve myself even more, to dive into self-improvement even more, to dive into studies even more. And as a result, in 3 months, when I started feeling better, it was easier to study because I could force myself studying. I could explain to myself that I need to study, I need to improve myself when I felt really bad. So the level of complexity was right here. And when I started feeling better, the level of complexity was right there. Because I already felt more motivation, I felt more inspiration, my life seemed to be better, and it was easier to operate. And I had something to compare because I knew that, oh, there's like harder environment to operate. So now I'm in good environment and it's really nice. Second thing was when I had my studies, internship, and when I was bulking, going to the gym. Probably it sounds like, oh, going to the gym, it's not a lot. It's a lot. It would take me on a regular basis every single day at least 4 hours to work out, to cook, and to eat. Because normally I would have my dinner, a huge plate of rice, that would take me more than 1 hour just to eat, not to cook, just to eat, and it's only dinner. I needed to have 3 meals per day. I was capable to operate in that environment. Having my internship that would require about 20 hours working per week, I would work like 15, something like that, but still it's a lot. I had my studies and this gym consistency. It was so hard to cope all that stuff, but once I've gone through that, I realized that, oh, my studies is so easy. Like my studies does not take that much effort. I can cope them easier. One of another examples, my current situation. I've been living in Belgium, and the language, the spoken language in the region I'm living is Dutch. I speak English. Everyone here speaks English. That's great. I can speak English, but if we're talking about some opportunities, working somewhere, I would need Dutch. I have two options. First, complain that I don't know Dutch and I don't need to study in university, so I cannot study Dutch. Second, I can study Dutch and study in university at the same time. And then when I reach a decent level of Dutch, my ability to learn, to study is higher than in my peers, for example, because they were supposed only to study, whereas I was supposed to study and to reach language, which requires more effort. So what I'm trying to explain, maybe those examples are not really clear, but what I'm trying to explain, that every disadvantage in life that require more effort is advantage in the long run, because you toughen up yourself even more. And then when you need to compete against people who did not tough themselves up to that extent, you will outperform them. It's as simple as that. And when I said about double-edged sword, what I meant is that living in this hard environment, yeah, that's true, that's easier to give up compared to living in not a bad environment, right? It's easier to give up, but on the other hand, you have more opportunities to grow. So you either become nobody and you live a life that you're not happy with, you're disappointed with everything that is going on around, or you're reaching a level where you can outperform people who are not adjusted to that level. I hope it's more or less understandable, because I'm trying to explain it, but obviously it's hard. I was thinking about this today, twice though, and I did not think a lot. And before this video, I spent 5 minutes thinking in my mind, how could I explain it? That's it. So maybe thinking more, I will be able to explain it better. I would really love to write an article about this, because I used to write articles, and I have like 3 articles on a Medium. That's an application, Medium. So Medium, yeah, something like that. So, but it actually makes a lot of sense. It actually makes a lot of sense to realize that the worse your condition, that the more opportunities to grow you have. For example, we can talk about 2 persons. One person from rich family, another kid from rich family, and kid from poor family. Kid from rich family, he doesn't really understand what does it mean to put a lot of effort, because normally from childhood, like, it's not always, but just for this example, for the sake of example, let's think about this way. He's not used to put a lot of effort. Parents would solve everything for him. He did not experience any difficulties in life. And he reaches 20 years old. He reaches, yeah, 20, he's 20 years. He's 20 years old, right? He reached that age. And there's another person from poor family who would need to put a lot of effort. He could give up every time, and if he gave up, he would be if he gave up, he would be way somewhere below this person, right? But let's say that this person who moves from poor family, he manages to go through everything on his own, and he performs at almost the same level as person from rich family. It's not even the same, it's almost. But if they need to compete somewhere, person from poor family will outperform because he toughened himself up more, he hardened himself. He's adjusted to grind, whereas this person is not adjusted. This person is adjusted to have parents who can solve everything for him, right? And this is the difference. This is the important difference. There was also another example that I really liked. Let me check how it's called. Yeah, everyone has a pain scale. What is pain? Everyone perceives it differently. A person who lives perfect life, who never experiences any difficulties, might evaluate needle prick as 10 out of 10 pain, at 10 out of 10. Whereas person who has gone through torture in his life, for him, the same needle prick is nothing. It's 1 out of 10 because he already experienced way harder things. And he does not even react to this. And this is the difference. Because when you're going through difficulties, you harden yourself and you're not as soft as a person who did not go through the difficulty. So the idea is not only stop complaining about whatever happens in your life, but even look for challenges to voluntarily try it out, to voluntarily experience an anxiety, to voluntarily jump on a challenge. And in the long run, it always pays off. Because first, God never gives us something we cannot go through. Never. So if you're given a challenge, you're given an opportunity to grow. And it's only up to you. Can you grow using that opportunity? Or you can only deteriorate because of your weakness, right? And if you're weak, you cannot be provided for any power, for any money, large money, because large money is large power. Large power is large responsibility. And if you're weak, you cannot be provided for that. So it's very important to be able to face challenges. Don't avoid them. And ideally, encounter them voluntarily, in my opinion. And I believe that that's a very important mindset shift that might allow to operate differently in life. And I'm always trying to look for those mind shifts, because if you have this mind shift, you perceive reality differently compared to other people. Because again, there's a great quote. One person sees opportunity in every failure, another person sees failure in every opportunity. Both are right, one gets rich. there's no objective reality. Every person sees this life I want to say in a unique way, but idiosyncratic way. In an idiosyncratic way. So it's only up to you how you perceive what happens with you in this life, how you interpret it. Because every day is a great day. Every day is an opportunity to have 24 hours to improve yourself, to become better, to make something great for your parents, for your loved ones, for strangers. Every day contains 24 hours. So it's up to us. It doesn't matter is this sunny, is this rainy. You decide what do you do. You decide is this an obstacle or is this something that will even harden yourself more? All right. I think I wanted to give some kind of conclusion, but I honestly forgot. So it doesn't matter because I explained my idea. So now I can talk about my day briefly and go to sleep because it's almost 1 a.m. So about my day, I woke up at 8:20, something like that, 8:20. I spent 20 minutes thinking, reflecting. This topic I just mentioned about has nothing to do with my morning reflection. My morning reflection normally helps me to process everything that has accumulated over a specific period of time, to process something that has been requiring processing for a long period, put it in this way. So afterwards, what did I do? Oh, I started studying Turkish. I spent nearly 2 hours. Honestly, it takes more than 1 hour 30 because I repeat a little. I need to review all the stuff before starting studying. After I finish studying, I still need to review some stuff. I'm trying to record something, and then I did one of the strangest decisions. I decided to learn a phrase in Turkish to say, I'm going to become fluent in Turkish in 90 days, and I wanted to learn it in Turkish. And normally, I don't struggle learning a specific phrase in Turkish. I know pretty hard phrases, like, I mean, longer than the one that I needed to learn, and they wouldn't take as long to learn them, right? But this one, for some reason, took me pretty long. And before going to the gym, I spent nearly 40 minutes, maybe 1 hour, trying to. My hair again annoys me. So before going to the gym, I did spend about 1 hour trying to memorize that phrase. No, I couldn't. I went to the gym pretty late. It was almost 1 a.m. I don't know what I was doing throughout the whole morning, but again, I was studying Turkish, then I was trying to learn this phrase, then I was preparing to go to the gym, then I went to the gym. I had pretty short workout, only 3 exercises for my back and 1 for my abs. That's it. Normally I have 5 exercises for my back and 2 exercises for my abs, and maybe even cardio afterwards. But today it was not the case. So it was not the case. After that, I needed to do groceries, and honestly, there's one thing that genuinely makes me happy is my body fat, because it's actually lower than it was before I started cutting, and I started cutting about 6 weeks ago, and already today when I dress this thin, it's something tied, how could we call it, what it's called, it's like thermo or something like that. And if I put it on, like 2 months ago, if I had put it on 2 months ago, it would be horrible. Like it would not be horrible, but I would see some fat around my waist. Nowadays, I don't see it when I put the same thing on me, meaning that I really managed to get rid of some fat. And also I can see that I look leaner, all that stuff, so it's pretty good. So I did groceries, I returned home, I had my breakfast at 3:30 a.m. Sorry, p.m. at 3:30 p.m. Great. And even before having my breakfast, I also spent some time trying to learn this phrase. Failed. I had my breakfast. After having my breakfast, I kept learning this phrase. Finally, I succeeded. I had one successful attempt when I was recording a video. Great. I made a video. I gathered enough content, but it's even not about enough content because it's hard to come up with what are you recording. It's pretty ordinary process of studying. So I don't know, I need to be a little more creative, I think. But it will come, I just need more experience. So what's next? Yeah, I needed to edit that video, I needed to upload that video, and it was already pretty late. It was like 5 p.m. or something. And after that, I wanted to start studying to write summary, but I need to spend 1 hour doing another thing. Then I went to have my dinner. After having my dinner, I only then started studying, which was about 8 p.m., which is so late because again, there are some emails to reply, there's something to check, this and that. So I started studying at 8 p.m. I was writing a summary. It was not bad, but I need tomorrow to do this again before exam, definitely. Then I've got vocabulary. I don't know half of the vocabulary. Alright, not a half, but at least like 30% of vocabulary I don't know, so we will see how it will work. After studying, writing this summary, I spent some time journaling. I started journaling since I started my new Instagram account because I want to track this journey, what is going on in my mind, my ideas, what I experienced and all that stuff. Then I spent 30 minutes studying English vocabulary that I need for tomorrow for my exam, and then I spent 30 minutes studying logistics, and that's it. And then I started recording this video. It's been 30 minutes. It's 1 a.m. That's it. So I should go to sleep. Tomorrow I'm not going to the gym because I need to prepare for exam, study rest of the things, because it's been a lot of days since I studied French. It's been a lot of days since I studied marketing. It's been a lot of days since I started logistics, and I don't want to leave those two for last days because it's horrible to study last days before exams. I like only reviewing last days to internalize everything. That's it. That's it for today, and this reflective video. I'm glad I've got it because it's been a while since I was thinking about stuff like that, and that's actually pretty nice. Without being said, see you in the next one.